ladies and gentlemen, respected teachers, and dear friends, today I would like to share some timeless wisdom that comes from Buddhist teachings but applies universally to all of us. It is about the 5 hindrances of the mind, those mental obstacles that prevent us from living with clarity, peace, and focus. Our mind is like a clear lake. When calm, it reflects truth and beauty. But when disturbed by waves of craving, anger, restlessness, doubt, or dullness, we cannot see clearly. These hindrances cloud our judgment, disrupt our peace, and keep us from realizing our full potential. The first hindrance is sensual desire, which refers to the constant craving for pleasurable experiences through our 5 senses: sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell. This is one of the strongest forces that can disturb the mind because it is based on never-ending wants. When we desire something, our mind becomes restless and focused only on obtaining that object, whether it is delicious food, a new possession, an attractive appearance, or even the approval of others. The problem with sensual desire is not that pleasure itself is wrong, but that the attachment to it creates dissatisfaction. The more we chase after these pleasures, the more we realize they are temporary. A tasty meal lasts only a few moments, a new gadget excites us only for a short time, and even beautiful experiences fade with time. The craving, however, continues to arise again and again, leaving us caught in an endless cycle of wanting more. This constant desire distracts us from deeper peace and contentment. It pulls the mind outward, preventing us from looking inward. For example, if we sit in silence to meditate, but the mind is busy thinking about the next meal, a phone notification, or some future comfort, we cannot settle. In daily life too, desire makes us restless, always seeking but never fully satisfied. To overcome sensual desire, the key is not to reject pleasure entirely, but to develop mindfulness and moderation. When we enjoy something, we should do so with awareness, recognizing its impermanent nature. Cultivating gratitude for what we already have weakens the urge to chase endlessly after what we don't. Contentment, therefore, becomes the antidote to desire. By practicing mindfulness, we begin to see that lasting happiness does not come from external objects, but from an inner state of balance and peace. The second hindrance is ill will, which refers to the presence of anger, hatred, resentment, or hostility in the mind. This hindrance is especially destructive because it not only creates suffering for others, but also burns us from within, like fire consuming its own source of fuel. Ill will can arise in many forms: irritation at small inconveniences, frustration when things don't go our way, or deep grudges carried for months or even years. It can be directed toward other people, toward situations, or even toward ourselves. Sometimes, without realizing it, we speak harshly, act aggressively, or hold negative thoughts that poison our own peace of mind. The danger of ill will is that it blinds us. When anger takes over, our ability to think clearly is clouded. We may make decisions we later regret, say words that hurt, or destroy relationships that took years to build. Ill will also prevents concentration. Just as a stormy sky hides the sunlight, a mind filled with anger cannot see truth or wisdom. Furthermore, holding on to resentment is like carrying a heavy weight everywhere we go. The other person may move on, but we remain stuck, replaying the same bitterness in our minds. In this way, ill will punishes us more than it punishes anyone else. To overcome ill will, one powerful method is the practice of loving kindness or metta. This means intentionally cultivating goodwill toward ourselves and others, even those we may dislike or disagree with. By wishing for others to be happy, healthy, and free from suffering, we begin to soften the hardness of anger. Forgiveness also plays an essential role. It does not mean condoning harmful actions, but freeing ourselves from the burden of hatred. Compassion is the antidote to anger. When we see that everyone experiences pain and struggle, our harshness can transform into understanding. By training the mind in kindness, we replace the poison of ill will with the healing medicine of love and empathy. The third hindrance is sloth and torpor, which refers to the heaviness of body and dullness of mind that prevent us from being alert, active, and fully present. This is not just ordinary tiredness that comes from physical work, but a state of laziness, lack of motivation, and mental fog that holds us back from growth and clarity. Sloth and torpor can appear in many subtle ways. It may show up as procrastination, putting off important tasks because the mind prefers comfort over effort. It may appear as the urge to sleep or escape whenever we face difficulties. Sometimes it takes the form of disinterest when we feel unwilling to engage with life or take responsibility. In spiritual practice, it may manifest as drowsiness during meditation. When the mind becomes heavy and sinks into a sleep state rather than staying alert, this hindrance is dangerous because it drains our potential. Life is short and precious, yet sloth convinces us to waste it in idleness. When torpor controls the mind, we lose the sharpness needed to think clearly, to learn, and to act with purpose. Just as a dull blade cannot cut, a dull mind cannot see truth. The causes of sloth and torpor often lie in imbalance. Sometimes the body lacks proper energy due to poor habits like overeating, lack of exercise, or irregular sleep. Other times, the mind falls into torpor because it avoids effort, preferring comfort over discipline. In both cases, the result is the same: stagnation. The way to overcome this hindrance is to generate energy and alertness. Physical activity, proper rest, and mindful breathing can awaken the body. For the mind, cultivating curiosity and enthusiasm for learning can bring light into dullness. When sloth whispers, "Do it later," we can respond with determination, "I will do it now." In meditation, focusing on uplifting subjects such as gratitude or inspiring qualities can keep the mind awake. In daily life, setting clear goals and practicing discipline helps us break free from laziness. The antidote is energy and effort, which sharpen the mind and make it bright, alert, and alive. The fourth hindrance is restlessness and worry, a state of mind where we are constantly unsettled, distracted, and unable to find peace. It is like a monkey leaping from branch to branch, never staying still. Restlessness makes the mind jump from one thought to another, while worry drags us into fears about the future or regrets about the past. Together, they rob us of the calm needed for clarity and concentration. Restlessness often arises from a craving for stimulation. We keep checking our phones, switching from one activity to another, or daydreaming endlessly. The mind becomes addicted to movement, unable to remain still. Worry, on the other hand, is born from fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of uncertainty. It keeps us trapped in what if scenarios that may never happen, exhausting our mental energy. This hindrance is particularly harmful because it makes deep focus almost impossible. Whether in meditation or in daily tasks, the restless mind refuses to settle. For example, when studying, the body may sit at the desk, but the mind is already thinking about tomorrow's plans. When trying to sleep, the body lies down, but the mind keeps replaying past mistakes. the result is dissatisfaction and fatigue. Restlessness and worry also prevent us from living in the present moment. Instead of enjoying the beauty of what is happening now, we are pulled into an endless cycle of distractions and anxious thoughts. It's like trying to drink water from a glass while constantly shaking it. Clarity can never be seen, and peace can never be felt. To overcome this hindrance, we must cultivate calmness and mindfulness. By training the mind to rest in the present, we reduce its habit of wandering. Practices like deep breathing, meditation, and mindfulness of the body help anchor us in the here and now. Developing trust and acceptance also weakens worry. When we learn to accept that not everything is in our control, the grip of anxiety loosens. The antidote to restlessness is serenity, and the antidote to worry is confidence and faith. A calm mind is like a still pond. It reflects truth clearly, free from ripples of distraction and fear. The fifth hindrance is doubt, a subtle yet powerful obstacle that weakens confidence and blocks progress. Doubt arises when we question our ability, our path, or even the value of the practices we follow. It can take the form of uncertainty about decisions, constant second guessing, or a deep lack of trust in ourselves and others. Unlike healthy curiosity, which leads to learning and growth, this kind of doubt is paralyzing. It keeps us stuck in hesitation, unable to move forward with clarity or determination. For example, in studies, it may appear as the thought, I will probably fail, so why even try? In personal growth, it can sound like, meditation won't work for me, or I don't have what it takes. When doubt dominates the mind, action becomes weak and energy is wasted in endless questioning instead of progress. This hindrance also destroys peace of mind. A doubtful person finds it difficult to trust themselves or others, which leads to constant suspicion, confusion, and dissatisfaction. It is like walking in fog. Every step feels uncertain, and the path ahead is unclear. Doubt can also be self-directed, appearing as low self-esteem or lack of confidence. In such cases, people may abandon opportunities not because they lack ability, but because they do not believe in themselves. This creates regret later, reinforcing the cycle of uncertainty. To overcome doubt, the antidote is wisdom and confidence. Gaining direct experience through practice helps us move from uncertainty to trust. For example, when we meditate regularly, we see the benefits for ourselves, calmer thoughts, clearer focus, and this dissolves the doubt of whether the practice works. Similarly, when we take small but consistent steps toward a goal, our own progress becomes proof that we are capable. Learning from trustworthy teachers, studying wise teachings, and surrounding ourselves with supportive people also strengthen confidence. The more knowledge and experience we gain, the less room there is for destructive doubt. With clarity, doubt transforms into faith, not blind belief, but a grounded trust in the path we follow and in our own inner strength. One of the most empowering lessons about the 5 hindrances is that they are not permanent obstacles. Each hindrance has an antidote, an opposite mental quality that weakens its power and restores balance to the mind. Just as darkness disappears when light is introduced, these hindrances lose their grip when we cultivate their direct opposites. For sensual desire, the antidote is contentment and mindfulness. When we learn to appreciate what we already have, instead of endlessly chasing what we lack, desire loses its control. Mindfulness helps us see the temporary nature of pleasure and teaches us to enjoy things wisely without attachment. For ill will, the opposite quality is loving, kindness, and compassion. By training ourselves to wish happiness for others, even those who may have hurt us, the fire of anger begins to cool. Compassion allows us to understand that just like us, others also suffer, and this understanding softens the heart. For sloth and torpor, the antidote is energy and determination. Laziness weakens when we consciously cultivate enthusiasm and purpose. Even small actions like sitting upright, breathing deeply, or setting clear goals can awaken energy in the body and sharpness in the mind. For restlessness and worry, the balancing quality is calmness and serenity. By practicing stillness through breathing, meditation, or simply being present, the restless mind learns to settle. Trust and acceptance also dissolve worry, reminding us that we cannot control everything, but we can meet each moment with peace. For doubt, the antidote is wisdom and confidence. Direct experience builds trust. When we practice, learn, and see results, doubt fades. Confidence does not mean arrogance, but a steady belief in our own capacity and in the path we follow. Wisdom allows us to distinguish between useful questioning and harmful hesitation. In this way, each hindrance is not a permanent enemy, but rather a teacher pointing us toward the very quality we need to strengthen. When we recognize which hindrance is present and apply the right antidote, the mind becomes balanced, clear, and open to growth. When we begin to recognize and work through the 5 hindrances, the mind undergoes a profound transformation. Instead of being dragged around by craving, anger, laziness, restlessness, and doubt, it gradually becomes clear, stable, and strong. This transformation does not happen overnight. It is the result of consistent awareness, effort, and patience. But the rewards are immeasurable. A mind free from sensual desire is not constantly restless in search of the next pleasure. It is content and satisfied with what is present. Such a mind feels light and unburdened, no longer enslaved by cravings. A mind free from ill will does not burn with anger or resentment. Instead, it radiates kindness, forgiveness, and compassion. This shift not only brings peace to oneself, but also improves relationships, creating harmony with others. A mind free from sloth and torpor becomes alert, energetic, and ready to take on challenges. Life no longer feels heavy or dull. Instead, it becomes meaningful and purposeful, driven by enthusiasm and clarity. A mind free from restlessness and worry is calm and grounded. It is not pulled into the endless noise of thoughts, but can remain centered in the present. Such a mind is like a still lake, reflecting truth without distortion. A mind free from doubt is confident, wise, and steady. Instead of hesitating at every step, it moves forward with clarity and trust. This kind of mind does not get lost in confusion, but recognizes its own strength and direction. When all these hindrances are weakened, the mind becomes a powerful source of strength. It no longer works against us, but supports us in every aspect of life. With clarity, we make better decisions. With peace, we handle difficulties calmly, and with inner strength, we face challenges with resilience. A trained mind is not just free from suffering. It becomes a wellspring of wisdom, compassion, and confidence. The ultimate purpose of understanding the 5 hindrances is not merely to name them, but to transform them. When we gradually overcome these obstacles, the mind is no longer a battlefield of cravings, anger, laziness, restlessness, and doubt. Instead, it becomes a place of clarity, harmony, and inner strength. A mind free from hindrances is like a polished mirror. It reflects reality as it is, without distortion. Such a mind is capable of wisdom because it is not clouded by bias or emotion. It can see truth clearly, make wise decisions, and respond to challenges with balance rather than reactivity. This transformation also brings deep peace. Without desire pulling us forward, without anger pulling us backward, without laziness holding us down, without restlessness scattering our energy, and without doubt freezing our steps, the mind settles into a state of balance. In this peace, we discover joy that is not dependent on external conditions, but arises naturally from within. Overcoming the hindrances also unlocks the mind's true strength. Instead of wasting energy on unhelpful patterns, we direct it toward growth, creativity, and compassion. A strong mind is not one that controls everything, but one that remains steady in all situations, whether facing success or failure, praise or criticism, gain or loss. Furthermore, the absence of hindrances allows us to connect more deeply with others. A mind not consumed by ill will radiate kindness. A mind free from worry can offer calmness to those around it. A confident, doubt-free mind inspires and uplifts others. In this way, our own inner clarity becomes a gift to the world. Thus, by mastering the hindrances, we do not only free ourselves from suffering, we also uncover the mind's vast potential for wisdom, compassion, and resilience. The mind becomes our greatest ally, guiding us toward a life of meaning, harmony, and true freedom. In conclusion, the 5 hindrances are not enemies to be feared, but teachers that show us where our growth is needed. When we recognize them, understand them, and apply their antidotes, we gradually transform the mind from a restless, clouded state into one that is calm, clear, and strong. A person who learns to overcome desire, anger, laziness, restlessness, and doubt is no longer enslaved by the ups and downs of life. Instead, they stand with inner balance, wisdom, and compassion. So, let us take this knowledge not only as theory, but as practice. Let us begin step by step to observe our own minds, to face these hindrances with patience, and to nurture the opposite qualities that free us. For when the mind is liberated, every aspect of life shines with peace, clarity, and purpose. Thank you.